get into Fizzarolli. I really love his character. I think that he's exceptionally endearing, and I think that the psychology of all of the things that he's gone through and the manner in which he deals with stress is fascinating. Now, there's not that many episodes with Fizzarolli, but there's so many amazing scenes with him that I actually had to split it up. So I'm gonna be doing Fizzarolli and Blitz, and I'm gonna be doing then separately Fizzarolli and Osmodeus because they're amazingly adorable and I just couldn't fit it into one video. So that video will be coming up after. So let's take a look into Fizzarolli's journey and his relationship with Blitz.
I'm Banana Pudding and I like to dance. I am Warm Horse and I am sad. Why are you sad, Warm Horse? Because I have no legs. Oh, well that's okay. I lost my legs in the war. The war? Yes, the Great Pirate War. No pirates.
You can learn a lot about people in the way that they play. A lot of times, play is the way that we can act out things that we can't act out in real life. And in a lot of ways, play is really healing. It's the way that we can explore different situations that we couldn't actually explore. So you can tell that Fizzarolli is really sensitive. He's kind of thoughtful and he adds on to Blitz's play. Even though Blitz makes things a little bit more gory and a little bit more aggressive, he adds on to the games. He wants to help and he wants to care for things. It's one of the traits that Fizz keeps all the way through the series.
Just for all you aspiring clown kids out there, a new chance to work with me, Mammon, and be the new face of my clownish brand. The winner will get to be like the son I never had, and I'll be like the stepdad that will love you when it's convenient. Wow!
Blitz already knows what it's like to be treated poorly by a parental figure, but to be treated in a way that he's not really cared about. But you can see that it's completely different for Fitz. When you idolize someone, often you're gonna allow them, even if they say something that's incendiary or rude or obnoxious, often then you give them allocations of, oh, that's not really that bad, or they didn't really mean that. We often make excuses and we only see things through rose-colored glasses because all the information they're giving us is filtered through this care, love, or idolization for them.
I have to win that pageant someday. Can you imagine how amazing it would be to get to work with him?
What's the point? Isn't being the star of our imp circus enough?
It's not about that. It's getting to work with my idol. I just love that he's giving someone new the chance to be in the spotlight. He's an inspiration.
Well, he's definitely something, all right. I mean, I don't know, was it worth all our savings just to have him put on an overhyped commercial and then about taxes and then assault us with clowns, vomit, and pass out on stage?
So worth it!
Blitz is already kind of jaded. He looks at things much more critically and isn't just going to accept anything, whereas for Fizzarolli, this is something that he's looking forward to, is really excited about, and so they both filter the information in a different way. Even though two people might have seen exactly the same thing, your feelings about a situation will filter how different information gets transferred to your brain and the feelings that you get from it. And so two people can see something, feel something, or experience something and have exceptionally different experiences from that and take away different lessons.
Blitzø, do you think I could win if I worked really hard?
I think if anyone's gonna be the new clown face on everything, it'll be you, Fizz.
Also, the way that Fizz looks up to what Blitz says and how he feels, probably because he has a stronger personality. He's a little bit more hardened, and so because of that, it seems like Fizzarolli really looks up to Blitz and his opinions about how he feels about that in a way that he's kind of like that big brother to him. I think that Blitz did a really good job about making Fizzarolli feel good.
Oh, you're Fizzarolli! Oh man, your stuff is great!
Oh, hey there.
I've just waited my whole life for an opportunity like this. With your fame and my raw, undiscovered talent, I knew we could.
Hey, beat it now or I'll make you swallow your fangs.
Fizz, you don't want me to leave, right? Tell him you don't want me to go.
We have to go now. Thanks, though.
This caused a lot of pressure, a lot of anxiety for Fizzarolli. It seems like it's hard for him to lay proper boundaries and consequences, be able to say no to someone, especially when they come on really strong. So you can see that this caused a panic reaction towards him. Whereas for Blitz, it causes the opposite reaction. He has kind of this aggressive reaction to when people are trying to stand over other people's boundaries.
Fine! You think you're better than me, you elitist? Your act's trash anyway!
Cheese and hot sauce, Fizz. Your fans or something else?
What if my acts are trash? What if I'm never good enough?
Hey, don't let one get to you, okay? You are plenty good enough.
But I have to be perfect.
And so there's two things that are happening there. When we're under stress, the things that people say to us actually stick more. They can often be the words that we hear all through our life from these traumatic moments from our childhood. And it'll continue playing in our head, this fear or worry. And often the ones that worry and bother us the most are the ones that we believe might have some drops of truth to it. And I think that that's why Fizzarolli is such a perfectionist, has to be so great. Because from a young age, that was the thing that gave him the most affirmation. And so he's building upon that.
Be right back after. Don't worry, Oz. I'll be super low-key. Nobody will notice me.
Sorry, they're called, what are they called? Queevies? It shows how sheltered Fizz is. One is that he says that he's gonna be super low-key, and maybe for Fizz this is super low-key, but like he has his little queevy creatures, and then like he like kicks up like the Heelys at the last second and like rolls around with the red carpet and like confetti, and yeah.
You again.
Stalking me now, huh?
Oh, don't flatter yourself, clown. I have my own life, you know.
Sure, Blitzø.
The O is silent now. And gee whiz, we've been in each other's relative vicinity twice in the last 15 years.
Twice is already way too much.
Yeah, well, at least I'm still actually working for my and not getting everything handed to me like some pampered attention.
How you know if an issue isn't resolved, if you're still upset about something, is how much emotional content you feel when you see, hear, or interact with someone. And so for both of them, this is an unresolved issue. They still have beef with each other. There's still issues. And in a lot of cases, sometimes it's miscommunication, but sometimes also it's that feeling of not being cared about or not being validated.
Yeah, well, guess that's what resilience and talent gets ya. Plus, my horns were always bigger than yours, weren't they?
And that digging, when people are digging, they actually want the other person to react. Sometimes because like you want to hurt them because you're hurt. Other times because you want engagement. But I think that underlying all of that, anger is a masking emotion. And beneath the anger, there's usually a secondary emotion. And for Blitz and for Fizz, it's hurt. They're both hurt by the other person. And usually anger is masking hurt if you really looked into it.
Oh, chill out, Jester. It's like you've never been tied up before.
Sure, but not by a bunch of psychos.
The feeling about being restrained can often cause panic. It's about the loss of control. For other people, it might be being trapped, and for others, it might be more the I can't escape or I'm stuck here. For a lot of people that have been controlled through their life or gone through trauma, this can cause exceptionally high anxiety. And often, they're people that are leaning towards being perfectionistic or might have more obsessive compulsive tendencies. They're trying to be more perfect, control everything to stop bad things from happening. Because they've usually lived lives where they weren't in control, now they're going to do everything to control every aspect because this illusion that they feel that if they can control everything, they can stop bad things from happening. But unfortunately, control is an illusion and it ends up being the control that controls you.
By a bunch of psychos and a piece of shit.
Am I the psycho or the piece of shit?
Both.
Yeah, that checks.
How is this happening?
I love the way that Blitz handles that. Like he kind of rolls with it, and this is this sweet, kind of almost friendly banter that they're starting to happen. He's not fighting anymore. And for a lot of people, that's very healing and soothing.
Stolas is just a loud, thirsty who loves feeling the thrill of getting by the lower class. And then he'll call me and try and see how my day was, and he'll pretend to care about me and comment on my photos and laugh at my jokes.
Oh, well, that's definitely your clue right there that it's all.
I know, right? He's just a fake privileged.
Sounds like you just hate him for being a prince. Because no one, and I mean no one, pretends to care that much just for a cheap leg.
And that's the hint. I'm gonna go through this scene probably again when I deal with Blitz and Stolas, but often we feel so much that we don't deserve love that we push it away, that it couldn't be real or genuine. And I think that that's what Blitz is doing.
How is someone this flexible, this useless in combat?
I'd give you a comeback, but that'd imply I'd give a shit, you think?
You always cared what I thought.
After what you did to me?
I didn't do anything. It was an accident.
An accident? Are you kidding me? You always had it out for me because people liked me better. You wanted me gone because you were jealous, just wanting the spotlight.
This kind of thing of going back to your past and rehashing it, you actually don't have to do it with the person that's hurt you, but often it is important for you to do it at least with yourself. You're not always going to get the response you want or the validation or the affirmation or even the understanding. But it is important for you to place your own position, your feelings, you have guilt or shame, and to understand them and understand why, and to validate your own feelings. So it's not always going to end up a good situation to confront the person that's hurt you. Sometimes, depending on what you want from that situation, it can actually make you feel worse. So everyone's saying you should confront someone and deal with it. Sometimes yes, and sometimes no.
I looked up to you. I thought you were my best friend. You ruined my life. And then you just left me. I lost so much because of you, and you selfish piece of shit. You didn't even care.
And it's interesting because, again, two people that have gone through exactly the same situation but from different viewpoints see it completely differently. One is that memories aren't hardwired. They're not like a videotape. We change them in our head. Our mind changes them depending on our emotion, how we feel, and they kind of warp through time. Often we are exceptionally inaccurate about the things that we are 100% sure that we saw. That's why witness testimony often is not the best way to show a fact. Even though we think that it is, we fully believe we've seen it that way.
I did care! It was an accident, it was! Okay, you're right, it was all my fault, okay? I should have done more to help. I was trying. There was so much going on. I was trying to get help, Fizz.
From Fizz's position, he saw himself that Blitz started the fire and then saw him in danger and abandoned him. And that's what he remembers, that his friend tried to burn him down, kill him, ruin everything because he was jealous, and then leave him there when he needed him the most.
It was still my fault.
Glad you can admit it. Want a medal?
Look, I'm sorry, Fizz. I am so sorry that you got so hurt. I'm sorry for what you lost.
And I know I can never make that right.
And remember, these are kids who are not always, it's hard. Like, it's always, like, people are like, oh, I would do A, B, and C in this situation. It's so easy to go back in time and look at a situation and say, I would do something different. But when you're in the heat of the moment, you only have so much information, and your brain can only process difficult situations when you're stressed or worried very easily. But if we take a look from Blitz's standpoint, it's a completely different situation that happened. He was all emotional. He had this card with a little heart, and for Fizz's eyes only. I wonder what that was about. And then was so upset that he pushed someone over, and then the fire was set by mistake.
But you have no idea what I lost in that fire.
And then because that he was blinded from the fire and he couldn't see very well, he didn't see that Fizz was in danger. And then he tried to go and get help to try to save as many people as he can, and also lost a lot because of it. I love that for Blitz, he is telling Fizzarolli, I'm sorry and it is my fault. He's doing a really good job of giving a concrete apology that's heartfelt. And for people that have been hurt, that's usually the best way to give an apology.
I mean, it's all my fault. I'd hate me too.
That's so sad because I think that that is part of Blitz, is that he does really hate himself in some ways and do things that are quite and does behaviors that are self-sabotage. It'll be in the Blitz video.
So why didn't you try to tell me any of this? Or come see me? Even once would have been fine.
I tried. You were all I had left, Fizz, but they told me you didn't want to see me.
I never told them that.
You didn't?
No, and no one told me you came.
Oh.
That's so sweet because, like, I love that they had this moment that they actually asked and said something. Sometimes we're so worried about being hurt or being abandoned that we don't ask the question of, why didn't you show up? Sometimes people have a very valid reason. But because of our own wounds, because of our own fears, we assume that it must be because we're not cared enough about, and that's why they didn't come. Because that's our real fear. And sometimes we're so scared of the answer that we don't even ask it. And we could be wrong. So that's why being able to not fear confrontation, be able to talk to people and do it in a way that's respectful can be so healing and is very helpful for having healthy, mature relationships. And then to be stuck, to be trapped in a similar situation of a trauma that happened from your childhood can kind of bring everything back, often to levels that you just shut down. It's really hard to go back to scenes because our body is made to not want us to get hurt again the way that we've been hurt very strongly beforehand. So often you can kind of be flooded and it can wipe out all of your working memories so that you're not even able to think coherently. Not everyone reacts the same way in situations that are really stressful. And that doesn't actually mean that it's a bad thing. It's a smart thing for all of us to react differently so that some of us survive. Learned helplessness is when you just decide to shut down and let it happen. And your body's kind of given up and you don't even feel fear or an anxiety response. You're despondent and just gonna stay there and see what happens. And that's what Fizzarolli is going through in that moment, where you can see him kneel down and the log almost hits him, that he just doesn't care anymore. And it's almost what happens after an anxiety response. It's kind of that point of like, that's it, I'm done fighting. And it shows Blitz how much he cares about the people. I think that Blitz hides behind all of his different defenses of being kind of hard and tough and sarcastic all the time, but how much he really cares for the people around him and how much this relationship means to them both.
You blew me up again, you
I did. But this time I stuck around.
It's just so sweet. Such a healing thing for Fizzarolli to have someone, and that's often what we're wanting to do. Often in relationships and situations, we want to have someone that is similar to the person that hurt us, but that will have a different reaction. We're attracted to certain of the strong traits that someone has, but we want them to actually be there. So I think that for Fizzarolli, it was really healing that Blitz showed that he was gonna be there, that he's changed, and that Fizzarolli means enough to him to risk his own life to protect him.
Would it up the moment if we made out right now?
I think that for Blitz, depending on what that letter actually had in it, I think that it's more that he often uses sex to be able to diffuse situations when there's too much emotional content. A lot of times when people feel stressed about a situation because they feel uncomfortable by it, they might make a joke or deflect or diffuse as a defense mechanism so that they don't become too intimate. That's why he's doing this with Fizzarolli. It's interesting though how Fizzarolli was able to show affection in such a comfortable way. And I think that that's because of the healthy relationship that he has with Ozzy.
Ready to reclaim your win another year? Yeah?
You know it, man, monster.
Good, because, you know, you are going to have to try extra hard, like fixing that posture. Not gonna lie, you're looking a bit shungo, yeah? Maybe lose a few so we don't gotta make any more adjustments to the fizzies. People like them skinny as
Oh, right, sir. Of course. I'll work on that.
What?
When we have these situations where someone is always critical of us, that often causes those perfectionistic traits in us. We're constantly trying to be good enough to get affirmation or to be cared about. But often we're doing it for personality types that will never give us that kind of affirmation that we crave so deeply. In Fizzarolli's inner psyche, that just makes him think that that's because he's not good enough. When he becomes better, smarter, faster, more talented, then he'll get it. Then he'll be worthy to be able to be cared about. And it's one of these never-ending processes because you can never be perfect. And so in Fizz's mind, if he was just a little bit better, if he just practiced a little bit harder, then he would get it. But you constantly try and you're constantly failing, and it feeds that cycle, which ends up causing usually a breakdown where you can have burnout, anxiety attacks, or even get physically sick.
Who's this dumpster diver you got here with ya?
Hi. Yes, nice to meet you. I'm the one who saw through your fake from the day I had to spend all my savings on the show you called a performance. Thanks for that, by the way.
Ignore him, sir.
And that also shows that for his kind of fawn reaction, that nervous laughter, a lot of people when they go through an anxiety experience, especially when they're watching other people have a confrontation, they might laugh nervously as a way to kind of, one, diffuse the situation, and two, to burn off some of their own anxiety. A lot of times people that laugh at inappropriate moments, sometimes it's anxiety, not that they're trying to be rude, and they actually might just be really nervous, and this is the way that they deal with it. I like that moment. I really wanted to show it because what it shows is Fizzarolli's humanity side, how much he loves the people, that he does this to be able to help others, and how touching it is that he takes a child that's deaf, is able to speak sign language, so he took the time to be able to do that and to be able to reach these moments. For that little tiny boy, that will be everything to him and can make a huge difference in his life. And sometimes those moments might be for Fizzarolli that he sees thousands of children that adore him every week, but for each one, those moments are really special memories. And I think it was just really sweet. I think that also shows why Fizzarolli really does this. It's not for the money, it's really to be able to reach out and help people.
I hope you're excited for the big finale. Come again?
Also love that he moved the little boy out first so that he doesn't have to be a part of this. He's protective. Often when someone hurts someone that you care about, you feel secondary pain because of that.
Your act is such trash. Always has been. Except now, I have to see your smug face plastered on everything, everywhere. And you can read all about it on my review blog. Fizz, but not in a sexy way.complainer.com.org.gov.
And this is so much more damaging because this is the person that caused him that trauma, that fear, and kind of set it on fire in the first place from his childhood. And when we go back through those kind of traumas, they hurt so much more deeply because there are parts of Fizz that he believes that this is true. Those things that hurt us the most are the ones that carry a nugget of truth or a nugget of a fear of truth, that we believe it. Often a lot of our negative self-talk are lies. They're not even accurate or true, but we hold on to them and often we believe that they are true.
Well, anyway, folks,
You're not even a clown anymore. All you do is work at that overpriced sleaze joint, and then every year you come back here to put us through the same tired old routine. Is there a single original idea in that head?
And people look at those that are famous and don't really see them as real people. They see them just as these caricatures behind a screen. And so they can often attack them and want to kind of knock them down because they see them as thinking that they're elitist or that they often are projecting their own fears at them, and they think that they're better than them. And because in this case, this person was rejected by him, it hurts so much more that he's carried on this animosity. Fizz has lived rent-free in his head for so long that he's been waiting for this day to be able to take him down. And often we don't know the damage that we can do to someone, because Fizzarolli might be famous, but he's still a person. He still has the same kind of fears and worries as everyone else does. We just think it's a funny joke to a character that might be played, but there's an actual person behind that character that is played or that performance, and sometimes we need to be a little bit more conscious of that as well. And you see his reaction is to freeze. That shaking is that way that our body is trying to get ready if we have to fight, if we have to run. But also the freeze response, a lot of people look down upon it, that if they're freezing, that's a weak response. No, it's a good response. If it was a bear, often freezing or playing dead is the right thing so you don't get eaten or die. If you were to run or to attack, in those cases, that would be a bad thing. The odds are that you wouldn't survive. There isn't good or bad situations. It depends on the situation and what you're dealing with.
Guy got to you, didn't he?
You know, you don't have to.
I do, Blitz. I do.
This is stupid. That clown is not this important.
This job is. Without it, I'll lose everything.
A lot of times we attach our identity to what we do or the title that we have, and we feel that without that, no one would like us, no one would care us, or we wouldn't be anyone. And that's why it's so dangerous, so damaging to our psyche to attach your self-worth to a secondary thing, a thing that you don't have control over. Your job, your title, the things that you have, the people that are around you. It's something that isn't really you. You want to attach your self-worth to your personality traits, the things that you care about. Those are things that cannot be taken from you and are much more stable because they're attached to you. But unfortunately for Fizzarolli, he sees all of his self-worth in the things that he does, his fame. And a lot of times, especially when you get a lot of adoration for that, that does feel really good, and it can become your entire world so that you can't even see you past that.
Okay, Fizz, you can do this. You can do this. You can do this. It's okay. It's fine. You have a show to do soon. It's fine.
And that happens. One is that he's just been through this trauma, and he constantly has to put everything on the line. For Fizzarolli, he's only as good as his next performance, and if he loses, that's like a prize fighter that's never had a loss. Causes this strong fear of failure, so much so that he wants to avoid. He's more avoidant by nature, so he doesn't want to have to do it, because if he doesn't do it, he can't fail. So a lot of people with a fear of failure, they actually will quit things before they fail, because quitting doesn't hurt as much. And you want to practice becoming counterphobic, that failure is not a loss. Failure is how you learn. But it's easier said than done because our society is so built upon the fact that you're only as good as your latest product, not the process that went into creating it.
Oh, no.
And I love that he's trying to talk himself out, but it's not making any difference because he doesn't believe it. Positive self-talk without an actual belief, when it's not concrete, it doesn't do anything. It goes into your head and then just kind of leaves because it doesn't stick. It's just words. That's why you really should go through to write it out and go through what is the truth. Not saying I'm the best when you're worried that you're the worst. That's not going to work because it's not true. You have to go through with things, write them out, and have it be concrete and attached to a proof to that. No, I'm good enough. I fear being bad because it'll hurt so much, but I can do this. I've done this in the past, and I don't have to be perfect, because perfect is impossible, and that's okay.
It's okay. You're fine. You need to be fine.
I'd also say he should do some deep breathing, slow down his breathing. That causes a feeding loop. If you're doing the hyperventilating because you have a fear, but then your body goes, well, you're hyperventilating, so maybe there is a danger, maybe you should feel more fear, and so it feeds upon itself. So slowing down your breathing will slow down your heart rate, which will then tell our brain, oh, I'm not running from a tiger and everything's okay. Maybe I don't need this much adrenaline in my system.
Fizz! Are you okay?
Why does everyone keep asking me that? You shouldn't be here, Osmodeus. I'm fine. Please.
Froggy.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
I had to put in a few moments because their interactions together are just so very sweet, and the way that he speaks to him is so soothing.
I have to do this. This could be my last chance to prove I'm still good at this, that it's not over, that I'm still good enough. It's not just Mammon. I'm fine. I just need to be better.
You think you need to be this perfect model performer, but that's because Mammon is always forcing that image onto you.
And I think that also society forces that image onto us, that we have to be perfect, that we have to be exceptional, that everything has to be these magical moments. A lot of media lies to us, feeds us all of these imageries of what it is to be human, to be good enough. And now that we get fed with all of these different social media images that are so photoshopped and so perfect, I think that it's actually raising the bar of the things that we expect to ourselves. Just existing isn't good enough. It has to be exceptional. Every moment has to be squeezed, every good, happy piece of it. We have to be performing or doing something or learning a skill or contributing to society. And sometimes it's okay to just be. You are exactly where you're supposed to be right now, and that's okay.
But everything I have is because of Mammon. I have this life. I have security.
And that's what Mammon's personality type wants him to believe, that everything that you have is because of me. You'd be nothing without me. That keeps them in control. That's why people don't leave, that fear of what will I be without this person. And those controlling relationships often leave the person that is in it with not knowing who they are without someone else because they've lost parts of their identity. They may not even know what they like to eat or what are their favorite color because they've gotten so attached to having someone else there. And for Fizzarolli's personality type, that needing someone else to protect them because they don't feel strong enough on their own is also a part of it and something that he should work on healing.
You are a way better performer than Mammon ever was, and that's just facts.
It's hard, you know, to trust that. I love you so much, Ozzy.
And I love you too, Fizzarolli. And I would, whether you win this or not.
Well, I kind of spent my whole warm-up having a panic attack.
I like also that for Fizzarolli, he kind of took off that mask that he was wearing of being perfect and showed all of the wounds that he has, physical and emotional, that he's been through. Accepting ourselves and even our dark parts, even our flaws, the errors that we have, our frailties is really important. We're both things. We're not just the good parts of us. We're a whole package, and that comes with the good and the bad. And you want to accept yourself, and that doesn't mean accept it and not try to become better, but to be able to know it so that you don't feel that shame or guilt that you're going to hide it away so much that you're never going to see it, never going to fix it, because even acknowledging it would hurt. So I think that was a really healing moment for Fizzarolli.
The greatest thrills of my life performing, and I'm so glad to bring you all one last show. 'Cause now I quit.
And I think that for Fizzarolli, it was really important that he was able to say those words and to say them on his own, to be able to say that he no longer needs to be able to chase this dream of perfectionism and having to be a performer, to be able to feel good about for himself. For a lot of us, it may not be an actual performance, maybe this inner conflict that we're having with ourselves. But at some point, we have to learn that we don't have to control everything. We don't have to be perfect to be okay, to be ourselves, and just let it go. You do not have to run away and join the circus to get all of the knowledge that you need with today's sponsor, Brilliant.org. Learn a new skill and get prepared for whatever life has to juggle at you. You can learn, enhance, grow with Brilliant's ever-growing set of new courses. Brilliant makes college-level courses available to make you as smart as a whip. And the wonderful thing is learning about yourself, learning about the world around you. It's one of the best investments that you can make. Make an investment with you. And with Brilliant.org, you can learn all of these courses demonically quick because they make it like a game, so it's fun. Yes, I know. fun. You can challenge yourself, you can compete with others, and the cool part is that when it's fun, it sticks better, and so you don't have to go back over different parts as often as you used to because you're enjoying learning. And Brilliant has thousands of lessons, math, chemistry, physics, engineering, computer science. Do all of these scare you? Don't worry. I found them really engaging. And you just have to practice for 15 minutes a day. I tried out their course on logic with challenging problem-solving exercises where I got to construct critical thinking skills that are the basis for mathematical learning. And I found it really fun because it's interactive, because you can chop it up into smaller pieces if you're feeling stressed. And so you can learn at your own pace without any pressure. They also have new courses on how large language models work. If you don't know how, check out the course, and an intro to probability. So if you're still not sure, just go on over to brilliant.org/Georgia Dow and just try it out for free for 30 days for free. So you have nothing to lose. Why are you not doing that now? And if you like it, you can get 20% off of an annual premium subscription. Just click on the button on the screen or head on over to brilliant.org/Georgia Dow. Yes, use my link. Make everyone use my link because that helps out my channel. So thank you so much to brilliant.org, and thank you to you for watching my videos, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. So those are some of my favorite moments with Fizzarolli and with Blitz. I'll be going through Fizzarolli and Osmodeus on their own video because the moments are just too cute and it would just be too long. So that will be separate. I think that these are kind of like paired they'll be paired videos because they're kind of like interwoven in between both of them, but it just would have been too big of a video. So you can let me know what your thoughts are of Fizzarolli and his emotional journey in the comments below. And I hope to see you in the next video. I'm just so happy that my horn stayed on for the entire time. None of them dropped off, and hopefully they're even.